Good morning, everyone. It is Tom Osa on AM Rockland's News. Normally, you would catch Mike and Tom in the morning. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of scheduling and health and all these other things that are happening. We're not making excuses, but the fact of the matter is that you're just going to have to deal with my annoying personality for the next 42 minutes or something like that. But I'm Tom Osa. Thanks for joining me on Rockland News today. We are here to deliver the news in a very objective and informative way. Usually, we have a co-host, Mike Kluger, and we typically banter back and forth, make fun of people, take phone calls like local town officials, and talk with the local populace about this, that, and the other. Plus, we have articles about small business and stuff that we talk about on the air. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. That's neither here nor there, but just in case you needed a reboot, just understanding what we do here at Rockland's News, that is what we do. We write stuff, and then if we can, we make fun of it on the air. That's kind of our whole brand as I think about it. But they always said in business school, like, keep it simple. All right. So we do have some actual news stories to report. First of all, we want to thank our sponsors, the New York Boulders baseball team, Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, and the Flowery Cannabis Dispensary. Plus, if you mention Rockland's News at these fine establishments, get these deals. Fiesta Acapulco, get a free coquito with your dinner. That's located in Stony Point, New York. Kobe Sushi, Jazz Music Lounge, music Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturday nights. Mention Rockland's News and get 15% off your entire sushi order. Minimum $75. Breakpoint Bowling, free $10 arcade card for newcomers to their $2 million bowling facility. It's got big screen TVs over every lane. There's like 20 lanes. You got Joey A's restaurant over there. Hey, it's really good food. Plus, you also have the arcade for the kids. That's where you get your $10 arcade card. And coming this fall, laser tag. That's right. We're going to do some laser tag over there. We're going to get this party started. Yeah, buddy. Whole Shot Bagels, located in Haverstraw, New York. Get a free bagel for first-time customers if you mention Rockland's News. And Mad Tea Party Productions, fun, affordable photo booths. 10% off your entire booth rental when you mention Rockland's News. And special thanks to these fine local businesses. Stony Point Massage, North Rockland Chiropractic, UPS Store in West Haverstraw. Got some great posters from there the other day, and going back for some more business cards. Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, they're actually not an advertiser with us, but we want to thank them nonetheless for being awesome people. We had Dr. Nick on multiple times on the show over the past 2 years, and we appreciate him. He's left for his next adventure in physical therapy, so he's not in West Haverstraw anymore. But as I mentioned several times before, we do wish him well because he helps people feel well. And Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy is a fantastic place located in West Haverstraw, New York. 99 Signs for all your digital billboard and portable sign needs. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. So get your signs over at 99signs.com, located in West Nyack, New York. FC Perfection Auto Body Repair, located in Congers. You bend them, we mend them. Yuck, yuck, yuck. And then Clean Space Maintenance Management Company. Get the mobile dumpster over to your house for just $199. That's right. And then you get all the stuff that you don't want in the house. You just throw it into the dumpster. Not your relatives. Keep the relatives. Throw out the dumpster stuff, like the things that belong in the dumpster. They haul it away, and they bring it over to the Rockland Green Sanitation Facility in West Nyack, and they dump it, and you don't ever have to worry about it again. Just $199 for the mobile dumpster, plus some dumping fees, but it's worth it. So a lot of cool sponsors, a lot of big thank yous. Normally, Mike would be here to talk about the craft breweries and the dispensaries, but that's his thing. No worries. But we do want to give special thanks to the Flowery Cannabis Dispensary because, as we all know, I don't know nothing about this cannabis, but I am learning. It's a very scientific endeavor. The Flowery Cannabis Dispensary, located in Haverstraw, New York. I'm not sure why I slowed down the pace of my statement just after saying the Flowery Cannabis Dispensary. I don't know. All right, let's talk about the weather. Today, it's going to be beautiful. 85 degrees and mostly sunny. Probably going to be a little bit humid, whatever, but the air quality index is going to be, in the words of this Google tablet statement, good. Thursday, it's going to start to rain, and oh no, this is not good. There's a 75, 55, and 65 and 65% chance of rain Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to be around 80 degrees, so moderate weather. So hopefully you have like some sort of a tarp if you're going to be outdoors. I'm headed up to Mazstock, which is an amazing 3-day concert festival event. It's up in Marlborough, New York, and I believe I'm going to plan in advance and have my plan to like hang out where the bands are right underneath the pavilion, because if there's going to be rain, you got to get the thing taken care of. So that is the weekend of weather, and hopefully it's going to be a good one. We don't know, but as we get closer, we'll certainly keep you informed here on Rockland's News. All right, let's get into the full news stories. First of all, a serious head-on collision was reported overnight in South Muncie near Saddle River Road and Millrose Lane. The Muncie Scoop reported that emergency crews, including Hatzola, Havarim, Muncie Fire Department, Feist Ambulance, and Ramapo Police responded to the scene. Surveillance video published by the outlet appeared to show one vehicle attempting to pass another shortly before the collision. Injuries were reported, but authorities had not released a confirmed number of people hurt or the severity of those injuries as of Wednesday morning. The investigation into the crash remains ongoing. And I saw the video of this yesterday, and it looked like, and this is just from bird's eye view from the video camera, that someone pulled into a driveway. From my perspective, it just seemed like they were planning to turn around or something, and then they got into the lane, and then the other car ran into them. And it didn't look like serious injuries, thankfully. That's the one thing. And I have to say, you look at these cars out on the road and you're like, oh, they look like toys. But I mean, the car that hit the other car was going at least 20, 25 miles per hour. It didn't cause that heavy of a crash. Like, it didn't look like the bumper penetrated into the car. I don't know what happened on the other side. And of course, there's shock and movement and everything like that. But it seemed to me like the car really held up against the impact. Not exactly sure how to say this, because I don't want to, it has nothing to do with like whatever the court case is. But it just seemed to me like as the impact happened, the car at very least held up. So kudos to the auto manufacturing companies. And we'll keep you posted on that as we usually do. Haverstraw Police. Oh, we're getting a comment in. Hang on. Did I say penetrate? Yeah, I didn't mean penetrate. My apologies. It got into the car. It got like not too deep into the car, but it got into the car, but it didn't get into the human. So I just wanted to be safe about that. Thank you, random person that commented on that. Okay, Haverstraw Police. I got like all my devices around me. I'm like looking at the Facebooks and the YouTubes and the text messages and the WhatsApps, but it's what it is. Haverstraw Police have arrested a Bronx man following an investigation into complaints involving a shipping business operating in the village of Haverstraw. Now, police say that Rockland County Consumer Protection received more than 24 complaints involving Rockland shipping from customers attempting to send items internationally. Investigators identified the business owner as 48-year-old Julio Thurman Hermoson of the Bronx. I can say that, I'm part Latin American. He was taken into custody August 14th with assistance from the NYPD and charged with first-degree scheme to defraud involving 10 or more alleged victims. Hermoson was released on an appearance ticket and is expected in Haverstraw Village Justice Court at a later date. And police say the investigation remains ongoing and additional charges are possible. The Clarkstown Town Board has introduced legislation that would temporarily halt approvals for certain larger development projects while the town reviews its land use policies. Pause for coffee. It doesn't say that on the screen. I just felt it. The proposed 6-month moratorium would apply to multifamily developments, large subdivisions, and commercial or industrial projects, including potential artificial intelligence data centers. Smaller projects under 5,000 square feet, some residential developments and projects within the Nanuet Hamlet Center would be exempt. Town officials say that the pause would give Clarkstown time to update zoning regulations, review infrastructure and traffic studies, and develop a new community preservation plan. A public hearing on the proposed moratorium is scheduled for September 15th at 6:30 p.m. at Clarkstown Town Hall. Now, what I find interesting about this story is the exclusion. So when the town of Stony Point did their 6-month moratorium up in Stony Point, I don't believe that there was any exclusion zones. I'm really curious, quite frankly, and if any of you want to look into this, um, why the Nanuet Hamlet Center is exempt. Uh, that just seems like a very, how do I put this in words? It seems like a head start on whatever could be developed in Clarkstown, and one specific area gets a head start on that. So I don't exactly understand that, but hopefully more town board meetings will ensue so that that could be understood better, because we want to understand it better. All right, moving on to the next story. And we will follow up on that because that's in the news regularly. There's several different organizations that report on that. For instance, Rockland County Biz Journal, the Muncie Scoop, the Rockland Report. So there's definitely going to be some more information about that moratorium. And it does make sense. I mean, this is kind of like following the guidance of New York State, because New York State just started imposing moratoriums on development. They have a 6-month moratorium, if I'm not mistaken, on AI development across the entire New York State, which affects some development in Orangetown, but not all, because the second phase proposed AI data center, I don't know if it's an AI data center, but it's a data center, um, by, I think it's Data Bank, that falls with under the threshold of the number of megawatts. I think it's supposed to be under 50 megawatts, if I'm not mistaken. So that would make sense there. But it's very interesting to see how, and we're still the country bumpkins compared to New York City. We're still kind of like the suburbs compared to Westchester. But it's going to be interesting to see how the nature of Rockland County changes over the next 20 years. It seems like there's a wave of business development that's happening in this area. And the thing about it is, it's going to be great for business. It's going to kind of suck for the residents. But there are enclaves, there are beautiful locations, there are places where in Rockland you can live, play, enjoy, have fun. There's beautiful waterfronts, um, huge state parks, Bear Mountain State Park, Harriman, with Seven Lakes Drive, where you can still go bike riding and not worry too much. Just really, really beautiful places. So don't count Rockland out for, like, the next New York City anytime soon, because there are some woods to be traversed enjoyably in this area. And I hope you do too. Keep Rockland beautiful. Congressman Mike Lawler's reelection campaign says 11 law enforcement organizations have endorsed him for another term in New York's 17th congressional district. The endorsements were announced Monday during an event in Haverstraw at the Elks Club, attended by representatives of police organizations from Rockland County and elsewhere in New York. The groups include the Rockland County PBA, the Haverstraw PBA, Police Conference of New York Authority. See, cops get me worried. Port Authority PBA, and New York State Fraternal Order of Police. Yes. The campaign says the organizations collectively represent more than 80,000 law enforcement officers statewide. How about that? Union representatives cited Lawler's record on policing and public safety, that's a good thing, in announcing their support. The announcement was issued by Lawler's campaign and was paid political campaign material. It was, oh, okay. All right. So that was from, where was that from? Well, let me put it this way. And I will want to actually take this moment to provide a disclaimer. Now, every news organization thrives on political advertising. Okay. So we are no different. All right. We're a news organization, and what we aim to do is, when we're writing it in print, we're being 100% accurate. So lest you think that we're skewing this one way or the other, we are not. As a matter of fact, we're going to be swinging by the Democratic Committee's office, which is in Nanuet. And they're going to be opening tomorrow at 5:30. And we're going to go mosey on over and shake hands and say hello to people and really get their perspective as well. Nobody's required to advertise or anything like that, but we do, as I like to say in a Machiavellian way, we arm both sides. And if we're just sitting there in the middle and basically saying, oh, interesting. Well, what are your thoughts? Oh, interesting. What are your thoughts? Oh, that's interesting. What does the audience think? That's the way we want to report the news, and that's the way we're going to keep doing it. All right. There are going to be political advertisements on the website. We just launched a brand new website, rocklandsnews.com, and we're getting the kinks out of it, but it's looking really beautiful. Special thanks to Saman for his diligent work on that. But you're going to hear, obviously, a lot more politic stuff on the show. And again, we're going to basically just look at it like it should be a contest for the public to view and make the best possible choice for elected officials, for elected office. Okay. Next up, Congressman Mike Lawler met Tuesday with local cancer survivors and advocates at the Nyack Library as part of an effort by the American Cancer Action Network to make cancer policy an issue in the 17th congressional district race. The organization says that Lawler discussed cancer research, health coverage, prevention programs, and other policies affecting patients and survivors. ACSCAN also recently met with Democratic congressional candidate Kate Conley and has asked both candidates to make commitments through its National Cancer Votes program. The organization describes itself as nonpartisan, and it says it does not endorse political candidates. Tuesday's meeting was held at the Nyack Library on South Broadway. A Nyack author is preparing to release a new illustrated children's book inspired by her daughter's interest in fairies and magic. No word on if she's into Black Sabbath albums. Sorry. Lindsay, it was a song. It's called Fairies Wear Boots. It's awesome. Lindsay Wallstrom is the author of How Rona Became a Fairy, which is being created with local artist Sierra Itirino, and published by Metaself Press. According to the publisher, the story grew from Wallstrom's daughter Rona's love of fairies and developed into a book exploring themes of love, memory, and loss. The book is currently scheduled for release in December. The publisher says both Wallstrom and Itirino are available for interviews as the project approaches publication. Rockland County's Department of Economic Development, Tourism, and Film is promoting a free workshop for residents interested in starting their own business. The Be Your Own Boss program will be held Thursday, September 10th from 6 o'clock to 8 p.m. at Finkelstein Memorial Library in Spring Valley. County officials are encouraging prospective entrepreneurs and others considering self-employment to register in advance. The workshop is being offered at no cost and is part of the county's economic development outreach to local residents and aspiring business owners. Now, as a person that has owned 4 businesses now, but first one lasted and still does to this day, lasted to date 19 years and counting. We're going to hit our 20th anniversary next year. It's trippy. Plus 3 other businesses. I will tell you, anybody that's working in an office right now and they're a W-2 employee and they're, obviously we have to survive. That's the bottom line. Everybody has to survive and eventually thrive. Now, the best way that you can thrive is to start your own business. It really is, because as time goes on, and you got to work your tuchus off, baby. You got to work it off. You got to shake that money maker. Oh my goodness. You got to work. And I mean, I remember 70 and 80 hour work weeks back in the 2000s. So long ago. But, these days it's a tiny bit easier, and it gives me the ability to do other things, to do things that make it feel like life is more of a thriving thing. And then, if possible, give back. And on September 12th, we're going to give back again at Rockland Music Fest 12. We're going to have the largest Guns N' Roses tribute band on the East Coast, Appetite for Destruction, performing for you and having an awesome time, plus 5 other local bands. We're going to have interviews for them on Rockland's News. Tickets on sale now, Blind Faith tickets for $12. But my point for that whole thing is this. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that if I was sitting in an office right now, just doing this, that, and the other for what someone else told me what to do. Now, I am not knocking it. It is necessary. And for, you know, I'd say at least 50%, maybe more of the Rockland's population, it's important to collect W-2 and be, if you will, the 8 to 6 employee, the 9 to 5. But think just about the quality of life, not having to commute to the city for 2 hours and come back for 2 hours. That in itself can lower your quality of life. Forget about the money. Just the fact that you can work from home, or you can get a small office in the area, have a nice local business. So the message that Rockland County is putting out there lately, and they have this Rock Solid campaign, which I can relate to. We actually have the domain rocksolidnames.com for our domain system, but it's nothing. So they have, Rock Solid. They're basically saying that the economic viability of Rockland County is solid. And I think generally it is, but it ebbs and flows. One of the things that is the driving force for that is small business, and that can be you. And because you start that small business, because you take that chance of looking outside of the matrix and saying, okay, I could do it this way. I don't have to do it this way. That gives you the opportunity to literally program your own life and eventually be able to design it. So I wholeheartedly endorse Rockland County's recent aim toward encouraging entrepreneurs. I was at an event, I guess like about almost a month and a half ago. It was the Rock Solid seminars. And a woman, Rachel Gatling, fantastic presentation about being able to streamline your business so that it works at its optimal performance. And believe you me, AI comes into that. It really does. More and more. And I personally believe that the ones that are running their business, not working inside someone else's business, they're going to have the leg up and they're going to have the advantage to scale as much as they desire. I'm not trying to get all like, utopian about it, but there's pluses and minuses to the whole AI thing that are certainly useful for human society, helpful, and also help you to live a little bit of a less stressful life if you use it the right way. Anyway, so check out those individual entrepreneurship workshops. The one that we're talking about here is on Thursday, September 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Finkelstein Memorial Library. That is actually literally 48 hours before the Guns N' Roses tribute band, Appetite for Destruction, hits the stage at Rockland Music Fest 12. Tickets on sale now for just $12. Why $12, you say? Well, I shall tell you, because we haven't told you where it's going to be yet. It's the biggest joke out on the street right now because we do have Friends Network, and we're telling people, like we told all the local bands that played last year over at the stadium. It's like, we're not putting this one out there just yet. We're going to, build up the anticipation, and then we're going to raise the ticket prices. So if you want a ticket for just $12, head over to rocklandmusicfest.com today. You're going to see the list of the bands that are performing. We're updating all the bands. And again, Appetite for Destruction, the largest Guns N' Roses tribute band on the East Coast. They will be there on Saturday, September 12th, and they're going to be performing. I don't want to tell you exactly when they're performing because you got to check out the other bands, and they're amazing. Okay. The village of Spring Valley is preparing to hold a September 11th memorial ceremony marking 25 years since the terrorist attacks of 2001. And you know where you were during the September 11th attacks. It was a brutal day, and we lost a lot of friends in that attack. The village announcement remembers those who died, the families affected, and the first responders who took part in rescue and recovery efforts. Spring Valley officials are inviting members of the community to participate in the local observance as the nation marks the anniversary. Additional information about the ceremony was distributed by the Village of Spring Valley as part of its community outreach. A commercial property along Route 303 in Valley Cottage has been sold, according to Rand Commercial. The brokerage announced the sale of a roughly 25,000 square foot flex building located at 153 to 163 Route 303. Break for coffee. Rand Commercials said Rockland County broker James Damiani, oh, I know him, participated in the transaction. The property is located along one of Clarkstown's major commercial corridors, which includes a mixture of retail, industrial, and service businesses. Additional financial details of the sale were not included in the announcement provided to Rockland News. Well, maybe we'll get a call out to Paul Rand with his bow tie. The village of Piermont is receiving state money from something about bow ties. All right, we'll start that again. The village of Piermont is receiving state money for 2 local infrastructure projects. Assemblyman Aaron Weeder announced $50,000 to help replace and upgrade communications equipment used by Piermont police and firefighters. Another $100,000 grant is being directed toward drainage improvements on Ritty Street. Village officials say that the drainage work is intended to better control stormwater runoff and erosion by installing a properly sized system. Weeder announced the funding during a meeting with Piermont Mayor Nathan Mitchell and trustee Jeff Gordon. The projects address both emergency response communications and a longstanding infrastructure concern in the River Village. You may have heard me very briefly pause when I said trustee Jeff Gordon, and for some reason, Commissioner Gordon went through my mind. Batman. Haverstraw police have made an arrest following more than 24 complaints involved. I hope I can keep this together today. Involving 24 complaints involving a business identified as Rockland Shipping, not Rockland Shopping, Rockland Shipping. Police say customers reported being defrauded while attempting to ship goods internationally. Investigators identified 48-year-old Bronx resident Julio Fairman Hermoson as the company's owner and point of contact. And we did mention this at the top of the hour, but we're mentioning it again. He was arrested on August 14th with assistance from the NYPD and charged with first-degree scheme to defraud involving 10 or more alleged victims. He was released with an appearance ticket. Police say the investigation remains active and additional charges are possible. All charges remain allegations unless proven in court. 2 men are facing charges following a month-long investigation into alleged illegal gambling in Spring Valley. Police executed search warrants August 12th at locations on North Main Street with assistance from New York State Police and Rockland County Sheriff's Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Authorities charged 46-year-old Cesar Hernandez Amparo of Hillcrest and 50-year-old Jose Chavez Torres of Spring Valley with first-degree promoting gambling, along with misdemeanor gambling record and gambling device charges. Both men were released on appearance tickets and will return to court. The charges are accusations, and both defendants are presumed innocent unless convicted. A working carbon monoxide detector may have prevented a far more dangerous outcome for a family in Chestnut Ridge. Muncie Scoop reports the alarm woke a sleeping household at about 2:30 Monday morning. Haverim Night Watch responded and detected elevated carbon monoxide levels before Orange and Rockland Utilities and Hatzela were called to the home. Hatzela reportedly evaluated and treated 11 people connected to the incident. Carbon monoxide cannot be seen nor smelled, making functioning detectors an important safeguard, especially in sleeping areas. The incident serves as a timely reminder for residents to test their home detectors and replace batteries when needed. Ramapo Police and Haverim are investigating a series of burglaries reported in the Muncie and Forshey areas over the weekend. That's Forshey Road, I believe. According to Muncie Scoop, several homes and at least one business were targeted during Shabbos, with sources telling the outlet that jewelry and cash were among the property reported stolen. Investigators were working to determine whether the incidents were connected. Authorities had not publicly announced arrests when the story was published. Residents are being encouraged to remain alert, secure homes and businesses, and report suspicious activity. The investigation was continuing, and additional details may emerge as police review the incidents. Families preparing for the new school year have an opportunity to receive free school supplies this Sunday in Muncie. The Community Outreach Center is holding its first back-to-school supply giveaway from 2 until 5 p.m. outside 21 Remsen Avenue. Organizers say each bag will contain more than $50 worth of brand-name school supplies. The program is supported through a grant secured by Assemblyman Aaron Weeder. Supplies will be distributed while available, with a maximum of 3 bags per family. Children must be present with an adult. Organizers say the outdoor event is weather permitting. A Pearl River sports bar has had its liquor license suspended following allegations that alcohol was served to underage customers. The state liquor authority says investigators visited Hudson West Sports Bar on East Central Avenue on August 7th and found between 70 and 100 patrons, with only 12 confirmed to be at least 21. Whoa, I didn't know how many there were. I knew that there was like a few, but the only 12? Yeah, you're in some deep doo-doo. Hudson West Sports Bar on East Central Avenue. I'm going to repeat that again, and this might be a little bit of a personal pet peeve, but like encouraging underage drinking is really not cool. Like if nobody's checking, Hudson West Sports Bar, East Central Avenue on August 7th, and their liquor license is suspended. And investigators alleged bartenders directly served 4 minors, while 13 minors gave statements saying that they had consumed alcohol. 2 nights later, police responded after a severely intoxicated 16-year-old girl was found unconscious and transported to Montefiore Nyack Hospital. The state case remains subject to further proceedings. A 20-year-old Haverstraw man is facing several charges following a weekend foot pursuit that left a police officer injured. Police say Reno Mitchell crossed Route 9W against a pedestrian signal Saturday night and nearly caused a traffic collision before running from an officer. Authorities say that a loaded firearm was discovered during the incident. That went from, and we have this story on Rockland's News. It's like it started out as a foot chase and it turned into like multiple counts of weapons possession and whole bunches of things. Mitchell was charged with multiple weapons offenses, resisting arrest, obstruction, second-degree assault. No word on if he just got added charges for just being a general dumbass, allegedly. Following arraignment, he was remanded to the Rockland County Correctional Facility under bail conditions that included $50,000 cash or $100,000 bond. The charges are allegations, and Mitchell is presumed innocent unless convicted. Oh, Mitchell, what have you done? I'm just looking around for the next story here. Okay, Rockland County residents now have another way to receive emergency information directly on their phones. The county is promoting a free Rockland County emergency management mobile app designed to provide alerts and preparedness resources in all one place. Features include weather information, road conditions, power outage information, and locations of warming or cooling centers when those facilities are activated. Residents can also access the county's Access and Functional Needs Registry and submit information about disaster-related damage. The app is available through Google and Apple app stores by searching for Rockland County Emergency Management. County officials announced the service earlier this month. I might download that. Why not? 11 law enforcement organizations announced their endorsement of Republican Congressman Mike Lawler during an event in Haverstraw. Lawler's campaign says the organizations collectively represent more than 80,000 officers statewide. Local endorsers include the Rockland County Patrolmen's Benevolent Association and the Haverstraw Police Benevolent Association. Lawler is seeking re-election in New York's 17th congressional district and is running against Democratic nominee Kate Conley. Immigration enforcement was among the issues raised during the endorsement event, with Lawler criticizing Conley's position. The campaign announcement cited by Rockland News did not include a response from Conley to those remarks. 2 proposed Orangetown housing projects are highlighting how developers are seeking zoning changes to build residential projects in areas where current rules do not allow them. RC Biz Journal reports a Blauvelt proposal would take place 2 apartment buildings with 138 units, plus 15 townhouses on roughly 12 acres along South Greenbush Road in a light industrial zone. In Pearl River, another proposal calls for 4-story, 109-unit apartment building near the train station on Jefferson Avenue. Now, both require special zoning mechanisms approved by the town board, and as reported, neither of the requested zoning changes had yet been approved. In a column published by the Rockland Post, County Executive Ed Day is pointing to the county's school bus stop arm camera program as a deterrent to drivers illegally passing stopped school buses. Day says that Rockland's partnership with Bus Patrol has produced repeated violation rate of about 10% of what it was before, meaning roughly 9 out of 10 drivers receiving a violation do not receive another. He also cited company data showing Rockland reporting fewer violations per bus than Bus Patrol's national average. The piece is an administration column rather than independent reporting. Day reminded motorists that traffic in both directions generally must stop when a school bus displays flashing red lights. And also, it's just a good idea for local reporters, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that they don't attempt to pass school buses when the traffic camera arm is out, because it might hurt someone. And that is all I have to say about that. Star Trek fans will have a local destination to celebrate the science fiction franchise's 60th anniversary. That's right. The USS Abraham... Shush. Audience, stop. So loud. Stop. The USS Abraham Lincoln chapter of Starfleet International is planning a special anniversary gathering September 19th at Haverstraw Town Hall in Garnerville. The event is scheduled to run from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening. That's a lot of Star Trek. Organizers are bringing the celebration to Rockland as part of the franchise's 6 decades in popular culture, true, giving area fans an opportunity to gather around the television and film series and its long-running fan community, also true. The event is being promoted as a local celebration of the Star Trek milestone. And for those of you that are looking to check that out, I actually have the website for that. It's ncc17809.com. I'm pretty sure that's it. Let me just go. It is not. Okay. Anyway, there's the USS Abraham Lincoln. Let me just see if I can find it. Star Trek. Because I know the guy that runs this. His name is Keith Schickowitz. And we host his website. Oh, okay. NCC 71809. That is, I believe, yep, that's it. It says at the bottom, Garnerville, New York, Earth Sector 001. How does he know it's 001? I mean, the aliens are going to have all different numbers for stuff like that. Keith, you're not the center of the universe, just in case you weren't sure. Sector 00, okay, all right. Sector 001 in Star Trek is planet Earth, all right? So I don't think that he's saying that he's the center of the universe. I think he's saying that Garnerville, New York is the center. Anyway, I don't know how to decipher it. I don't even know how to exit this story, but I'm just going to say good luck at the event on August 16th, Keith, from the Rockland Post and the USS Abraham Lincoln. And again, it's going to be September 19th at Haverstraw Town Hall in Garnerville. And finally, Nyack News and Views is looking back at the fire that changed the village's cultural landscape more than a century ago. In July 1909, flames swept through the Nyack Opera House at Depew Avenue and Franklin Street. No one was killed, thankfully, although 3 firefighters were injured. For nearly 40 years, the building had served as a center for concerts, plays, dances, political gatherings, and community events. It also hosted Nyack's first public telephone demonstration and, in 1897, an early exhibition of motion pictures using an Edison projector. The remaining complex disappeared during urban renewal in 1965. Nyack Plaza Apartments now occupy the site. Okay, so that is all the news that we have for today. And again, as I mentioned before, my co-host Mike Kluger is not here. I actually told him to come here late because honestly, I just didn't feel like getting up that early. I don't have to be at networking meetings in the mornings anymore. So it's really nice to be able to Well, I'd been getting up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning for, I don't want to say decades, but quite some time, especially in networking groups. I had started a pro MetroNet networking group about 20 years ago, and and it's changed over the years. Now it's called BSPN because one of the people that, while I was on honeymoon, decided to stand up and say, "Why don't we just change the name of the organization?" And they called it the Bi-State Professional Networkers. Can you get any longer of a name? So I came back from vacation. I was a little hurt that they changed it, but I was like, whatever, whatever the everybody wants to do. It's the Bi-State Professional Networkers Organization. And I just looked at the person. I was like, why don't you just call it BSPN? It's shorter. So they're called the BSPN. I left the group about a month and a half ago, which brings me to my next. I don't want to call it a story. I don't want to call it an announcement. I want to call it what I'm bringing back as a segment just for a little while called No Names. And it's a segment that I've used on various local individuals, public officials, and stuff in a way that couldn't possibly get me in legal hot water. So here we go. Tell you a quick story. So once upon a time, there was an individual in a networking group that walked around like a "Orpy dopey, hey, how you doing?" And look, let me be fair. The dude was able to, get a whole bunch of friends in the group through his all right, good for him. All right. However, another person that had been in the group for many, many years noticed that on his document of the things that he does, and in networking groups, dude, like the whole idea is categories. You're good at 1 to 3 categories. That's the format. Okay. Had a system back in the day that somebody created called X123. Kind of makes sense. All right. Happens to look at a document that shows all of this person's categories. There were 60 different categories on it. And to boot, those categories also overlapped with not only the other person's category, but also 5 other members that did very specific things, such as marketing, security cameras, web design, content management, and PCI compliance. I was just trying to think of the last category. It was that financial services PCI compliance category. So when the other person confronted Mr. He's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's like, well, what's PCI compliance? Do you know what that is?" Had no answer. Didn't even know how to spell it. And basically, when the other person tried to bring in a diligent individual that knew that particular space, because it's a serious one, it has to do with security, that guy cock blocked him from getting in the group. So when this allegedly diligent person goes to membership to talk about it, the membership committee basically said, and I quote from one person that has a lovely mustache, he's got a beautiful mustache, said, "Enough. That's it. You're not allowed to say anything more about this. You will stop talking about this." Blah, 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 blah. All right. And his fat friend to the left was like, I don't know. And then there's another person that's standing there. He's a little shorter in stature, but it's fine. But he basically was just like, whatever the group wants. And it's, but he, good dude. Good dude. So this person basically said, "Okay, I quit." He walked out, and his premise was, if they don't see what's happening right in front of their face, what's the point? Fast forward 6 weeks later, on a lovely Wednesday morning at approximately 7:21 in the morning, and this big, large individual and Mr. Mustache and walk in to that same beautiful diner restaurant located in Nanuet, New York, and happen to notice a very, 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 very large effing poster promoting a local music festival. Well, you could just imagine the level of surprise because they hadn't seen this person in 6 weeks. And the moral of the story is this: don't fuck with me. Because there will be no necessary or terrible things that happen in the future, except eventually the loss of market share. And just wait until 2028 for the sequel to that no-name story. Anyway, we want to thank our sponsors, the Flowery Cannabis Dispensary. I don't know how that got to the top of the list after that very, very dank story. But also the New York Boulders baseball team, Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, Fiesta Acapulco, Kobe Sushi, Breakpoint Bowling, Whole Shot Bagels, Mad Tea Party Productions. Mention Rockland News at any of those fine local establishments and get free stuff. And special thanks to these fine local businesses: Stony Point Massage, North Rockland Chiropractic, UPS Store in West Haverstraw, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, 99 Signs for all your digital, billboard, and portable sign needs, FC Perfection Auto Body Repair, Congers, New York, and Clean Space Maintenance Management Company, located in your garage. If you want all your stuff taken out and you have the mobile dumpster, just take it on out and haul it for just $199. And they bring it down to Rockland Green and they get rid of it. You never have to look at it again. I wish it, as a part Italian, I could use that on things other than, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so that's all. And on this very dank episode of Rockland's News, I'd also like to say to my co-host, hope everything is well, and hope that thy head shall heal soon. That's the only way that I could put it in words on the air. Heal thy head, sir. Heal it, and heal it well.